In a showdown between a full squad of Russian soldiers and a lone Ukrainian robot, the smart money would usually be on the Russians. While the squad might take some damage, a single machine going up against multiple troops is exactly the kind of numbers game Russia likes to play. Having a massive numerical advantage has always been Moscow's trump card. But as Ukraine has demonstrated time and again during this war, Russia struggles to turn that manpower advantage into tactical success. You can probably see where this story is going. The Russian squad didn't win. In fact, the Ukrainian robot completely obliterated the entire unit, inflicting catastrophic casualties. It's a humiliating blow to Vladimir Putin and a stark demonstration of how rapidly Ukraine's Unmanned Ground Vehicle, or UGV technology, is evolving. On January 7th, United 24 Media highlighted an incredible mission executed by the NC-13 Robotic Strike Company, part of Ukraine's 3rd Army Corps. Dubbed Operation Alphabet, the mission involved deploying a single ground robot packed with anti-tank mines against a Russian stronghold. The outcome was exactly as volatile as you'd imagine. The mines detonated, wiping out most of the entrenched Russian troops. Following the explosion, all Ukraine had to do was send in the infantry to secure the now silent position. The Russians never saw the drone's deadly cargo coming. Now they're waking up to a terrifying new threat on the front lines. The 3rd Army Corps posted an explanation on Telegram, accompanied by a video documenting the planning and execution of the strike. This is footage of a successful operation by the fighters of the 3rd Army Corps, as a result of which the enemy group was destroyed and our infantry occupied the liberated area, the Corps stated in the video's introduction. They elaborated on the mission's difficulty. Despite the difficult terrain and attempts to defeat it by enemy FPVs, the professional GRC operators traveled 20 kilometers, 12.4 miles, and delivered 12 mines directly to the shelter with the occupiers. Note, GRC stands for Ground Robotic Complex, the Ukrainian term for these vehicles. The takeaway here is clear. Ukraine has solved one of the biggest hurdles facing ground robotics: range and terrain. This single unit didn't just cross 12 miles of rough ground, it did so while carrying a heavy payload of a dozen anti-tank mines. Whether this success speaks to the robot's stealth or Russia's failure to detect a relatively large ground vehicle is up for debate. But the explosive aftermath proves Ukraine has a viable new strategy for rooting out Russian forces hunkered down in trenches. The footage, which was also circulated by Pravda, is a cinematic spectacle set to AC/DC's Thunderstruck. It opens with the robot reaching its target and detonating. We then see the NC-13 team prepping the mines and navigating the robot into place. The video offers a rare glimpse into the operation, showing a sophisticated computer setup in a concealed bunker where operators pilot the machine. It includes POV footage from the robot itself, as well as an aerial view of the explosion captured by a reconnaissance drone. Interestingly, the drone appears to be piloted using a standard video game controller. This suggests that Ukraine has made even its high-tech robotics intuitive enough that anyone with some gaming experience could potentially operate them. Perhaps the most intriguing detail is the choice of weaponry. Anti-tank mines, specifically the TM series mentioned by United 24, aren't typically used as offensive weapons. By design, they're meant to be buried in the path of oncoming armor, not delivered like a pizza to the doorstep of entrenched infantry. But that is the brilliance of Ukrainian tactics. They're constantly improvising, turning available munitions into unexpected tools of destruction. On January 7th, Forbes contributor Vikram Mittal noted that the TM62 anti-tank mine, likely the variant used by NC-13, has become a multi-purpose tool for Kyiv. Originally fielded by the Soviets in the 1960s, it's one of the most common mines globally, meaning Ukraine likely has vast stockpiles. A standard TM62 is green, roughly 12.5 inches in diameter, and packed with 16.5 pounds of explosives. If the robot was indeed carrying 12 of them, the explosion would have consisted of nearly 200 pounds of TNT. Ukraine is even manufacturing a modernized version called the TM2025. While it looks like the Soviet original, it features 3D printed components for rapid, cheap production. Crucially, it uses advanced fusing. Alongside a new electromechanical fuse, the TM2025 includes a secondary fuse, allowing for remote detonation, according to Metal. It doesn't take a strategy mastermind to see the value here. Drive the robot to the enemy, hit a button, and let the massive payload do the work. Metal points out that Ukraine is using these mines as aerial bombs dropped from drones and as satchel charges alongside their traditional role. By repurposing a single type of munition for multiple delivery methods, troops can streamline logistics while keeping up the pressure. However, Russia isn't using robots to deliver these mines offensively. That innovation is purely Ukrainian. This isn't the first time Ukraine has hacked mine warfare. Back in May 2025, we covered how they developed a method to use mines specifically to counter Russian motorcycle troops. Regarding this new robot delivery tactic, the Third Army Corps calls it the new reality of war. It's a reality where machines that didn't exist before the invasion are now taking out entire enemy squads in a single blow. This shift catches Russia off guard because until recently, Ukraine utilized these robots primarily for non-combat roles. In November 2025, the BBC reported on ground robots in the Pokrovsk sector. Rather than assault vehicles, these machines served as a lifeline for troops under constant Russian fire. As Moscow tried to cut off supply lines to Pokrovsk, these robots kept the defenders fed and armed. Using a robot to run supplies removes the risk of a soldier getting picked off by enemy snipers or drones. The robot is small enough to squeeze into a bicycle lane and looks like a mini tank without a turret. They're hard to spot, difficult to jam, and allow soldiers to stay in safe cover. By late 2025, nearly 90% of supplies in that sector were being ferried by robots. While logistics are the obvious use case, both sides are rapidly adapting these platforms for combat. In a late December article for Forbes, Metal observed that ground robotics have lagged behind aerial and naval drones, but their usage is accelerating as we head into 2026. Beyond logistics and medical evacuation, Ukraine and Russia are deploying smaller tracked and wheeled bots for surveillance. Because they're so low to the ground and hard to detect, they're perfect for intelligence gathering. The NC-13 video confirms that these robots can transmit video feeds. A camouflaged robot hiding in the brush could theoretically monitor Russian positions for days, providing invaluable intel. While Ukraine keeps the extent of its spy robot operations quiet for operational security, the potential is obvious. Even more significant is the evolution of UGVs into mobile weapon platforms. Metal highlights a case where a droid TW-12.7 robot helped the 3rd Assault Brigade hold a position against a Russian push for 45 days. This specific robot has since been upgraded to carry a 40mm grenade launcher. Whether it's grenades or mines, the lethal capability is increasing. Ukraine is doubling down on this technology. The New Voice of Ukraine reported on January 7th that roughly 15,000 ground robots were delivered to the military in 2025, with plans to exceed 20,000 in 2026. Through the Brave One Defense Tech Cluster, the government is coordinating with over 270 companies to develop these systems. Around 70 models have already been standardized for military service. By October 2025, these bots have hauled nearly 300 tons of cargo, aligning with the BBC's reports on their logistical dominance.
The national interest reported in November that Ukraine aims to acquire up to 30,000 ground robots, with basic models costing as little as $10,000 and advanced ones hitting $50,000. It's a cost-effective way to save lives and inflict damage. Despite these successes, the technology is still in its infancy compared to aerial drones. Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi noted that ground robots accounted for only 0.66% of all drone missions in November 2025, while aerial drones conducted 60% of strikes. However, this low percentage represents massive room for growth. As Ukraine solves terrain navigation challenges, ground robots will likely see exponential adoption. There's another driving force behind this push. Ukraine is facing a severe manpower shortage. Russia simply has a deeper pool of recruits, with Syrskyi estimating a 3-to-1 or even 6-to-1 Russian
manpower advantage in some sectors. Robots can't replace soldiers entirely, but they can take over the most dangerous jobs. Sending a machine to charge a trench saves a human life. This is critical as recruitment becomes harder after 4 years of grinding warfare. Reports from military outlets suggest that despite on-paper mobilization numbers, the actual number of fresh troops reaching the front lines is significantly lower due to desertion and draft evasion. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko recently admitted to Politico that the country faces huge problems with staffing, suggesting the mobilization age might need to be lowered. With many Ukrainians seeking temporary protection in the EU to avoid the draft, the need for force multipliers like UGVs becomes desperate. While 30,000 robots won't solve the manpower crisis, they provide a crucial edge. Few soldiers would volunteer to strap 12 anti-tank mines to their back and run at a Russian bunker. A robot will do it without hesitation. As ground robots begin to make headlines, Ukraine's aerial drone campaign continues to devastate Russian assets, causing an estimated $20 billion in damage over the last 7 months. If you want to know more about Ukraine's long-range strikes, check out our video on the recent attack against Russia's Energeir defense plant. If you found this update valuable, please subscribe to the channel for continued coverage of the conflict's technological evolution. Thanks for watching.